welcome back to the Art of Relationship show, people. As always, it is a live Q&A, question and answer. You have the questions, I hope, and I will do my best to answer your questions as always, as I do the Art of Relationship show every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, people. So hopefully everybody will tune in and we'll go on. Hey, Morgan, Shane, what's going on? So, as people join in, I'm going to do my usual disclosure. Sorry, said brain fart. The Art of Relationship show, this live Q&A, does not substitute actual professional counseling that I do in my office. Because let's face it, because I need consent forms, privacy, HIPAA, follow HIPAA guidelines and everything else to ensure privacy, confidentiality, and of course, with the Art of Relationship show and the social media aspect, I can't ascertain those aspects. Okay, so I will be respectful. If you want me to announce your name when you have a question, let me know. Give me permission to do that. If not, I'll just read off the question that you have. And I'll do the best I can to answer. Hey, Lucas, what's going on? Amy, I appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. And as always, with the Art of Relationships show, how you ask your questions, throw them in the chat down below, people, okay? And whatever platform you're listening to, if it's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, if it's YouTube, throw your questions down below. I'll be able to read them and do the best I can to answer them. And tonight, going to start off the topic about what do you think is the number one issue or problem in a marriage or relationships, okay? And everybody's going to go down to, let's get this one out of the way, okay? Excuse me. Everybody's going to go through the state of cheating, right? That's the number one issue. Excuse me. But that might not be, a lot of people look at cheating. No, that's not necessarily the number one cause in relationships. That might be the end result of what's going on in a relationship or marriage. Again, I never justify, condone cheating. Every episode, if I talk about cheating, betrayals, that type of thing, I never justify, never condone them, not at all. And it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't justify any of those issues with cheating. But I look at what creates it, what led to the cheating aspect, okay? Hey, kitten back, okay? You, me, bottle oil wrestling, yes or no? We'll have to figure that one out. So we'll have to see what weight class you are first. So as always, you can, throw out the Art of Relationship, this episode on your timeline, on your page. I want to do the best that I can to help as many people out there, okay? And this is where, that's my passion. I honestly want to help as many people out there as possible that have the relationship they've always craved, desired, and, to help themselves also to have, self-love and self-respect, okay? I'm different, okay? I don't blow smoke up people's booties in the mental health professional. Not at all. And I want to help people, and I'm legit, I'm honest, to be able to help. I actually care about people, okay? And I am a fully licensed professional counselor, LPC, in the state of Michigan, here in Detroit, Metro Detroit area. And I specialize in definitely, relationships, couples, marriage, and sexual challenges. And I have a lot of grief and a lot of trauma aspects. And I mention this on every episode just so people know, I'm legit. I'm not a fly by the seat of your pant, that self-proclaimed coach type of thing. So throw out your questions, anything I can do. Like I mentioned, about a lot of people will look at, cheating. That's the number one issue in relationships. And, marriages. That's what causes demise of those aspects. But I tell people that might be the result of what is going on in the relationship. Okay. So I'd love to hear your take. Throw out your questions, throw out your, what you think is the number one issue in relationships and marriage. Okay. Hey, Nick, I appreciate you tuning in. People on Instagram, thank you so much. So throw out your questions. Let me know what you think is the number one issue in relationships, those type of aspects, okay? And we could look at, communication. I get phone calls on a daily basis, right? And number one thing that most people talk about or come up to me with an issue is communication. And, I sort of joke around a little bit. You say screw you, they say screw you back. You understand each other, right? So is communication an issue? Or is it how you use communication? Is it taking things out of context? Or is it misunderstanding each other? Are you trying to understand how you impact each other with communication? Okay. Oh, got a question. Okay. My relationship was perfect. We had one bad week because miscommunication, broke up with me and then cheated. Oh my God, my heart goes out to you. I'm so sorry. Had one bad week of miscommunication, broke up with me, and then cheated. My heart goes out to you. And I look at number one, I wish that didn't happen to you, not at all. Now, and I run into this a lot, okay? So if that person, if you broke up, they can't cheat on you, okay? So I tell people, and I'm not being a jerk, not at all, okay? So when people break up, they might go out and have sex with somebody else, okay? And that might not necessarily be cheating, but if you broke up, separated. But I tell people, I run into this a lot. You break up for a week, a month, separate for a month or two, and then what happens is, they go out and sleep with somebody else or talk to somebody else on an intimate level. I tell people it might not be necessarily cheating, but what happens is that that still can hurt and still cut that person deep if you decide to get back together. I get that, right? So that's where I tell people it might not be that, but you got to connect with the pain that's created. You got to connect with that. Doesn't mean because you're broken up technically or separated and you ended up hooking up with somebody else. That still can cause a lot of pain, a lot of hurt to that person if you get back together. So I want people to acknowledge that pain that is caused, but understand, it might not be cheating, whatever. And that's what I mean about, how do you show each other remorse? How do you show each other that you get that the other one's in pain by our actions, even if it was not nothing wrong, if you will, with that, okay? Well, people said she emotionally cheated on me before the breakup, and that very is possible. So that definitely could be cheated. Okay. So this is a situation I look at. I still get this in my office. That ain't cheating. That ain't cheating. Okay. And I tell people, you know what? You, the individual, the couple, dynamic, you have to constitute what cheating is. Okay. You have to understand, what are your rules? What constitutes cheating? And I tell people, yes, there are emotional cheating. Absolutely. Physical cheating, like a one night stand, and I call them a combination of both, okay? Where someone is actually catching feelings, falling in love with somebody, and it's physical as well. So it's very, very difficult, okay? So it's not easy when it comes into that aspects. And TikTok warned me some comments in this live were filtered to protect the community's experience, okay? So this is a situation where I look at, if someone is talking emotionally and emotionally cheating, it needs to be look at, what is that, what is going on and what is dealing with that. Okay. I'm not used to this attention being divided between us. And that's where I look at when you say about attention being divided between us, that's where I would like to know, what is, in that relationship. And it's difficult, okay? And it's not all, it's not that easy, not at all. So you look at those aspects about what is happening, what constitutes cheating. And I usually look at what is the breakdown to the situation in that relationship, and what is the breakdown to um, lead to someone that might cheat. Okay. So that's where I don't justify it. Okay. I look at emotional cheating could be sharing intimate details, talking about the relationship or marriage intimately with somebody else that you want someone to listen to you. So that's where I tell people those type of elements you need to be able to look at um, what's happening. And I only take advice from people with hair. So you're taking poor advice for somebody that might not might not have a clue what they're talking about, dude. So is that immature? Trying to help people, trying to look at that. I have a sense of humor. I love it, but I'm trying to help people, not trying to give immature aspects going on out there. Okay, so I look at, as communication is that a big situation that is going on in a relationship? Is that the number one that's going on? I think a huge thing is, let's face it, not feeling important. Everyone says communication, but I look at the root of communication. Is it that you're not listening to one another? You take things out of context. You don't understand each other. You're not hearing each other. Or, there's a lot of things to communication that go on that takes a toll on the relationship. When you talk about your issues, maybe some people it's a lack of communication as well that causes issues in the relationship, right? That your person, maybe it's you, that is not, they're not saying anything. It's like you're talking to the proverbial wall, right? You're talking about situations, about what is happening, what is going on. And, you're trying to have a communication, a dialogue, not just talking to the wall or a monologue, and your person doesn't say anything. They don't acknowledge anything. But then they're saying, oh, I'm listening, but you don't know that because there's no feedback, there's no dialogue. So, how do you know they're listening? How do you know they're even participating in the conversation? So, there's so many elements about communication, there's so many aspects about communication that causes problems in a relationship. And then the resentment might build and build and build over time, and that leads to maybe somebody cheating. Again, it's not excused, not condoned, not at all. Okay. So that's where I want people to be able to look at, what is happening, what is going on in the relationship, and what helps. So throw out your questions. Okay, throw out your questions. What's happening, what's going on in the situation. And as always, we have people on TikTok that I guess are bored, have nothing else better to do, to be able to look at that situation. Okay. So we have people, maybe they're immature, they're bored, maybe they're teenagers or act like teenagers that are going on in the chat on TikTok. So, which is normal. So, but okay, Lisa, you mentioned, hey, Greg, communication is key. Wow, does it make a difference? I'm in a healthy relationship now. Woohoo, Lisa, that's awesome. And wow, what a difference. It's nice to be seen, heard, and taken into consideration. So, this is where I ask people, going on in a relationship, what type of communication you have. How do you understand each other? Some people might be a talker, another person doesn't talk that much. But where do you look at that situation and what does that work on you? Where did Lisa comment? Actually, it is on Facebook. So the show is live streamed on basically everywhere. Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. So TikTok, you're not going to be able to see those comments. So, but that's where you're able to look at, communication is key, but what type of communication do you want? What's important to you? What's important to the relationship, and how do you want to communicate? And a lot of people have a hard time. They get defensive, right? Oh, I want you to talk to me. I want you to tell me what you need, what you want, what you don't like. They say that, but when you tell them that, they get defensive. They go tit for tat. They start driving all over the place. Aspect about that, okay? Where did the Middle Eastern style art piece behind you originate from? Hey, AAA. To be honest with you, it's not really Middle Eastern. It's like an abstract couple holding each other. To be honest with you, I think this one came from a friend of mine a few years ago and had it shared on easycanvas.com. Blew it up, sent it to easycanvas.com, and that's it. So it looks like Oriental, maybe from a distance, maybe like an anime type thing, but it's more like line art, and it's a couple embracing each other. In my office, I know I don't do my show from my office that much, but I have a few other things that have been very similar to it that are very cool. I like them. A lot of my clients in my office, couples, comment on them. And I have some that aren't so abstract, if you will. So, no, I appreciate the question. So, with the communication, you need to be able to look at what is not only easy for you, but you need to be able to look at that aspect. Oh, very nice. If you look up early 2000s and late 1990s Iraq art, you may notice. Oh, cool. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm all about different cultures. I love different cultures, insights, and with couples, I work with all type of couples, people of color. I work with Middle Eastern, Muslim. I work with all kind of people, and I'm very flattered to have that in my office. So I appreciate that. Thanks so much. Looking at what is happening in your relationship, in your marriage, in a past relationship or marriage that caused a breakdown. And I ask people all the time, somebody got cheated on. I've been cheated on before. I think a lot of us maybe have. And you look at, what was I doing? What did I do to cause that person to cheat? And sometimes we could do everything perfect. Nothing's perfect. And that person still cheats for whatever reason, right? So that doesn't justify it. That doesn't condone it. I never get into excusing, justifying that. But going back to what else do you feel is number one issues about a relationship? And communication is one. Hey, Morgan. Hey, what's happening? So I look at not only that, I want people to be able to look at making each other a priority. This I hear a lot with couples in my office as well, okay? So excuse me, had to sneeze. Sorry, allergies are popping. Excuse me. How unprofessional, right? But oh well, this is me. So looking at, I'm human, right? So it's live. So a lot of people making them feel important, make them feel not a priority in their relationship, okay? A lot of people will look at, what do you do to make each other a priority? And I hear this a lot in my office with couples and even individuals that have been through a breakup, been through a divorce, and they're healing from it. I never felt like a priority. Everybody else took a priority. Her family, her sister, her friends, they were more of a priority than I felt, as long as I paid the bill. And I hear it, same thing from, women too. His friends, his family was more of a priority than me. So that's another aspect when it comes in communication. It's also, making each other feel like a priority, making each other feel important, that you're cherished, that it does matter, the bond together. And it's even a lot more difficult, let's face it, when people have kids, right? All the attention goes to the kids versus the relationship or each other, and then one feels like you're left out, that you're being taken for granted, you're not important, you're not a priority, and it's like, oh, you just needed me to have kids and you don't even love me anymore. AAA, by the way, I'm unfamiliar with the ethos of your live stream, first time viewer. Oh, cool, man. I appreciate you tuning in. Thanks. The Art of Relationships show is I do a live as I'm doing it now, a live Q&A. It's called the Art of Relationships show, and I do a live Q&A about dating, relationships, marriage, and intimacy, those type of aspects. Okay, I am a fully licensed professional counselor here in Michigan in the United States, in Detroit area, and I actually am a fully licensed professional counselor. Uh, I specialize in relationship, couples, intimacy, and marriage. And I've been doing this for over 21 and a half years now. It'll be 22 years in April, or not April, I'm sorry, in August. So I've been doing this a long time. You need a lot of education on, I don't know if it's unfortunately, but with ethics and that type of stuff, ethics, laws, rules, boundaries, and definitely human dynamics, right? Let's be real. So, no, I appreciate you asking what's going on. So, I've been taking live video. I've been doing this actually for years, probably, oh boy, 6, 7 years at least now. So, yeah, I appreciate it. So, going back into, number one issues of relationships, you look at what are you doing to make each other a priority? What are you doing to make each other feel loved, to feel respected, to feel like appreciated, that you matter to each other? And it's not just, I hear this all the time, Greg, I feel like I'm put in a drawer. I feel like I'm on a shelf that, when you have time enough for me, then you take me off that shelf, take me out of that drawer. But other than that, and then you put me back, and it is not a comforting thing. I never feel like a priority. It's always, I'm a last resort. I'm always low on the proverbial, priority list, if you will. And it comes out, I'm third, I'm fourth, as fifth, whatever. It's always, maybe his work, her work. And I get that. We have to pay bills, right? But, his work comes first, the kids come first. I already said it, family, friends, maybe a hobby comes first before me. And I'm like third, fourth down the list. And pretty soon, that leads to somebody, maybe I want to be done with the relationship. I want to be, I want a divorce. I want to be out, because why would I be in a situation where I don't feel important? I feel like I'm not a priority. I feel like I'm not important. And a lot of people don't want to feel that way. And then what happens, right? Someone starts showing them attention, and it might start off innocently, right? And then it feels good. Oh, I'm getting attention paid to me. And then it turns into maybe emotionally cheating or emotional affair. And then it might turn into a full blown, physical, like I said earlier, a combination or a combo affair where it's emotional and cheating, okay? And I get it. And it's not a comforting situation. It's not a happy situation. Hey, Tracy, I appreciate you joining on Instagram. I'm shooting over there. Santos, Brookline, hey, what's going on? So throw out your questions. Throw out your, questions, insights you have. And it doesn't have to be, related to the topic of tonight's show. Not always, okay? Talking about, what do you feel is a priority in the, priority. Sorry. What is maybe your opinion, insights of what a number one problem in marriage or relationships that cause them to go sideways, that cause them to go through a divorce, break up, that type of situation? And, I threw that out there right away. Most people are going to say cheating, but I say cheating might be the result of more what's really going on in a relationship, and I threw this out there as far as, communication, okay? Uh, and I look at, is it how you communicate with each other? And I just left off talking about a priority in a relationship. So I think a lot of times it's communication, but it's also how you connect with each other. How do you show each other? What does each other need to feel loved, to feel appreciated and important and loved in a relationship? Okay. And the communication comes from that, the arguing, the fighting back and forth. I hear this all the time, and that's part of communication, right? We argue all the time, we fight all the time, Greg. And I look at that, is that, again, is that the result of what is happening? Is that the, what do you want to say, the consequence, if you will, of what is really going on in the relationship? Not feeling important, not feeling loved. And all of a sudden, is that why you're arguing and fighting at each other? Is it about wanting to be right, wanting to be wrong? So I look at, the foundation. What is going on? Santha, hey, appreciate you. It's been a long time. Hopefully life is good. I really don't want a relationship with a woman, but I'm not gay. What gives? Why is life so twisted? That's a great question. Now I need more information. Of course, you're not gay and you don't want a relationship with a woman. Maybe, it's looking at, there's people that are, they identify as not being gay, but you can be attracted, more fluid. People could be attracted to men, women, those type of situations, but it's also looking what gives. You could be afraid to get hurt, get crushed. And you look at, I ask people, who are you attracted to? Is it same sex? Is it opposite sex? That type of situation. So you said you don't want a relationship with a woman. So I look at, and again, that's not right or wrong. Some people are asexual. They're not attracted to anybody. But they might be emotionally attracted to, maybe doesn't matter on gender, that type of situation. So I want to look at, that's a great question, actually. So I look at, do you want to be single, but you want to have sexual relations? Okay. You want to, TikTok might ban me for that word, but intimacy, we'll say physical intimacy. Okay. So that's where I look at about, is that the type of situation that's going on, that you want to be physical with a woman, but you don't want a relationship with them? But then be open, be honest about it. Okay. I tell people there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be single and, just play around, be physically intimate, and that's all you're looking for. And there's men and women that do that. Okay. However, be open, be honest about that. I tell people all the time, be legit. Don't fake it, don't lie, don't mislead, manipulate anybody. I mentioned this, I think this came up last episode last week about, don't lie, don't manipulate. If you want to be single, you're just looking for, physical intimacy, be open, be honest about it. Okay. Don't lie, don't mislead, don't tell people, hey, you know what? I want a long-term relationship. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a long-term relationship. I want to be married, but you really don't. You're lying to them. Okay. So I tell people you need to be open, and you're right, Santa. Hey, Pierre, what's going on, bro? Been a while, man. I hope life is great. So it won't work unless they are honest. So that's where I want people to be, open and honest. Don't, you whatever, end up having intimacy with somebody, and all of a sudden you ghost them because that's all you wanted. Don't do that to people, right? I want to help. That's what I do. I help people. I don't want people to use people, manipulate people, lie, that type of situation. I tell people, be a good person, at least be open and honest about it, and to be able to look at, I'm going to be legit, and I'm not going to use anybody. Okay. I want them to have a decision-making power in that. So I don't think you're twisted, not at all. I'm looking at, what is going on. How do you want to be? And, that type of situation. So I look at, and there's some people that don't want a relationship, and they identify as maybe cisgender. They identify as maybe trans, identify as non-binary, um, that type of situation. So there's so much to go into it, and I'd want to be able to understand, what's going on. Okay. Um, no, and that, I totally understand you with that. It's probably because I'm afraid of developing deep personal connections. So I want short term only. And that's okay, but be open, be honest about it. But I also look at, you know, being afraid. I get that. And there's a risk. I tell people all the time, falling in love, being connected with someone, there's a risk that we're going to get our heart ripped out, be broken. So I get that. And I talk to people that, they want love again, but they want guarantees. There are no guarantees. There's a risk that that person won't love you back. There's a person, if you look at it, right, that they could hurt you. They could, maybe unintentionally rip your heart out. And that's part of love. That's part of it. But that's where I look at, and there's some people that have been through horrific stuff. I said earlier on the show, I have a lot of horrific trauma and grief experience. I've worked with kids, teens, and adults over the years as well, with couples, intimacy and marriage aspects, relationship stuff. But that's where I look at of people gone through, and I get that you can't trust anybody. People that were supposed to love you, your mom, whatever, pimped you out, abandon you. I get all that. So why would you trust anybody? But I think for most people, not all, human condition is they want a deep emotional connection. It could be friends, a friendship situation. It could be, maybe it is love. Maybe it is the romantic love you're looking for, the, heart. I taught, mind, heart, body, and soul connection you're looking for. And the only thing you can do is be open and honest and understand, yeah, there is a risk, but then are you willing to take it if that's really what you want? And I'm all about, listening to your gut instinct, okay? I'm all about being able to listen to, um, your heart could bleed, right? You want, your heart and soul are there. You love somebody, you fall in love with somebody, but your gut's saying, something, they're snaky, right? they're being sneaky. Something ain't jiving, and they might lie to you and rip your heart out. I get that, okay? And it's, can you prevent it? You try to do the best you can by showing that person what they need to feel loved, desired, and other than that, you can't control anybody else. I'm honest, okay? So, do you know what munting, Robert, hey, what munting is? To be honest with you, I don't think I've heard that term. The big thing, gooning going on now. So to be honest with you, I don't think I've heard what I know what mounting is, but as far as munting, I'll have to look it up, man. I appreciate it. I hear, believe me, I hear a lot of stuff. I work with a lot of different people, mostly people of color. I work with, like a Middle Eastern. I work with Muslim. I work with Jewish. I work with all kind of people, and I'm flattered by that. So I'll have to look that up after the show. No, I have to, man. I'm all about learning, so I appreciate that, and I'll have to clue it in. Maybe I can look it up now, what Urban Dictionary is. So, what other questions do you have, people? So, oh, okay. Now I get you. Okay, now I just looked it up. To be honest with you, I've never heard that before, okay? And for people out there, it's reference a necrophiliac, where you have two live people dealing with, or if you want to say dealing with, a dead body. So now I did hear that. I know necrophiliac, absolutely. But munting, I didn't. So Robert, I appreciate you let me know that. I'm all about learning and trying to learn more and more. So yeah, absolutely. And No, that's, yeah, some people might be into that. And again, it's a, I'm all about consent, right? Can you have consent with a dead body? I don't think so. So it's, is it disgraceful, disrespectful? Is, what turns that person on to that? Just like any, you look at any type of fetish, any type of, um, that type of thing, you get into kink, you get into those type of things. Disturbed, yes. Yeah, I'm not, I don't want to bash anybody for that, but when you look at it, if it's not consensual, then that's an issue. So that's why I go for two people. They got to be give consent, right? They got to be okay with it. And a dead person cannot give consent to their, freedom of their body, right? So, what else when it comes down to problems in a relationship that you see? I mentioned on making each other a priority, right? Communication, and more in depth about what exactly about communication. Are you listening to each other? Do you make each other feel respected? Is it how you communicate with each other? Is it voice tone? Is it words used? Is it when you get in a fight, when you get in an argument, are you calling each other out your name? Are you calling them names, right? You rotten mo, beep, 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 that type of shit. So are you looking at, being disrespectful? Is it, trust aspect that you feel like you can't trust your partner to have your back, right? Say you have your back, your partner's back throughout the relationship. Somebody talks bad about them, you put them in their place. You have their back, but your partner never does it for you. So there's so many dynamics when it comes down to making each other feel a priority, making each other feel important and loved. We communicate, but he doesn't understand me. Now, um, I could be a smart ass right now because I know you, but now I'm looking at what does he not understand? What clarity does he need for him to understand you? Okay. And some people will look at, hey, I need an emotional connection. Okay. I want, what does an emotional connection mean? And there's some people that really don't know. They never were raised with emotional expression that much, or talking about, earlier about a deep, being afraid of deep connection. So they don't know what emotional connection is, and trying to teach them and trying to, what do I want to say? Trying to educate that person what emotional connection is, or at least, let's face it, what it means to your partner if it's about showing compassion and empathy. And I tell people, you can do a Google search, YouTube, which the show's being, streamed live on now. YouTube, doing a search, expressions of empathy, expressions of compassion, or examples of empathy, examples of compassion. That would be a great way. And I suggest that the people in my office, look at that. That might be able to look at those type of situations. Okay. He reverts to me being insecure, meaning he is, I just want to make sure I got this straight, meaning that he's accusing you of being insecure. Now, my question for him would be, did you ask her why do you think she's insecure? Number one. Number two is, for him, what am I doing to make you feel insecure? That's what I would ask him if I was seeing both of you, in my office or virtually. I would ask, why do you think she's insecure? What makes you feel she's insecure? And there's a difference between being, are you, manipulating whatever, that some person, they're accusing their partner of being insecure. But I want to know, are they overly flirty with somebody? Are they talking, intimately, or, trying to sext a certain person and talking that way, overly flirty and looking them all up and down, what is that person doing to make that other person feel insecure? I'm going to go after that right away. And if that person is not insecure, I get that. But I'm also looking at, is there a difference between your partner is being disrespectful? So that's why I want to know, hey, why are you cluing me in? Why are you referencing me as always being insecure? What is happening, right? Now, is it that you are you accusing him of cheating? Are you accusing, oh, I saw you looking at that? Is it all, I'm looking at those references to get to the root of number one, what is going on in that situation, okay? And what is happening? Another question: how should you handle your partner ignoring you because of an argument? And this is a very, very, could be complicated, but this is a very, very common situation I run into. And how do you handle your partner ignoring you because of an argument? And this is part I look at about expectations when I call them rules of conflict, limits of conflict. What rules do you have if there's an argument? What rules do you have in your relationship that you agree on? I don't want anyone to ignore anybody, okay? And I use a reference of questions of care and concern when it comes into one person shuts you down, they ignore you after an argument, during an argument. I don't want that to happen. That person might need space. Hey, you know what? I want to hear you. I don't want to fight, but I need space. Give me a little bit of time, okay? So that's how I want that to handle, but I want part of that agreement, and this sounds very familiar to you, I'm sure, to be able to look at, I don't want the argument. I want that person that needs space, him, her, doesn't matter, your partner, to be able to come back. Hey, you know what? I appreciate the space. I don't want to argue. I want to hear what's going on. And I want, hey, you know what? I don't want to be shut down. Or some people, they feel like they're getting yelled at, screamed at, that they're not listened to. They're not heard at all. So they just shut down and you don't want to hear me? I'm going to ignore you. So we have to get to the root of the issue about what your partner is feeling when they're, why are they ignoring you? What are they feeling? They might not want to argue. So that's where that needs to open up, that dialogue, that conversation. Again, that doesn't justify it being ignored. No, not at all. But I want to know what's going on. And are you able to, hey, why are you ignoring me? But I want them to say, hey, I don't want to argue. I don't want to fight. I just need time. Let's talk. Let's calm down. But then you need to come back and re-engage after a certain amount of time to be able to heal that so it doesn't build resentment and actually resolve stuff. No, that's a great question. So hopefully, I hope that helped. That's a quick synopsis. I know there's a lot more in depth with that can go on to that, but we have to look at, are you able to set rules? What's allowed if you get in an argument, a debate? I don't want people fighting, yelling, and screaming at each other, going back and forth, tit for tat. No, not at all. That's not healthy. I want, hey, I want to hear you. I don't want to argue. Give me a minute. And, I need some space. I need some time. That's what I want that person to be able to say. Because, hey, I want to hear this. I want to settle this. But I don't want to argue. And it's going sideways. We need a break. So I want that to be respected. But that person that needs a break, that wants to calm down, and that time frame can also allow both of you to calm down and try to self-soothe and get your bearings and look at, hey, what am I really feeling? I'm feeling angry. I'm yelling, screaming, whatever, arguing, or going after right underneath that is, are you feeling hurt? Are you feeling not heard? Are you feeling disrespected? But instead of speaking on that aspect, it comes out in anger and rage and yelling and screaming, which isn't healthy. I get it. I understand it. But looking at those avenues, okay? Now, going back to the insecure aspects. Let me jump back. Yay. Okay, but I'm good. I know I've lost a lot of weight. Oh, good for you. Awesome. I'm good. I'm not cheating, but he thinks I am. Now, I'm confused. Okay, he thinks you're cheating. Is he insecure, or he accuses you of being insecure? I thought you said he accuses you or reverts back to you being insecure, or is it just him that he's self-conscious, he's not that confident, um, so he sort of throws it on you. You get me? I don't use psychobabble. People in my office, couples know I don't use psychobabble at all, but referencing is he projecting? He's actually feels insecure, but he's trying to throw it on you and trying to bash you and trying to make you feel a certain way. And actually, he's feeling that way. He might not ever admit it, but that's where I'd want him to be open and honest and be vulnerable. If he's confident enough, is he able to be open and honest with you about what he really feels? You lost a lot of weight. Awesome. Great for you. Is he feeling insecure? Is he looking at, oh my God, everyone's, guys are looking at my lady, my wife, all the time. So now he's saying, oh, you're insecure. You want everybody looking at you. In all honesty, maybe he's the one that's sort of shaken now. He's the one that's feeling insecure. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. This is just a guess. And ask him if that's really what's going on. And if you do feel insecure, what am I doing to make you feel insecure? What am I doing to make you, you know, think that I'm cheating on you or that I would want to cheat on you? Okay. What is happening? What's going on? To have that open dialogue and open conversation. Okay. And that's where I would want you both to be able to sit down, to be able to hear each other and, you know what? Oh, I think you might be cheating on me. And then you blow up. Oh my God, or you laugh at him and dismiss him. Oh my God, you're crazy. And you dismiss it. But he might be hurt or serious about that. And then the more you sort of dismiss it, makes him more insecure, makes him think, oh, she's blowing me off, thinks it's a joke. So I think she's might be cheating it even more. You get me? So that's where I want you to be able to go after and, take, him accusing you of cheating. You could feel hurt, pissed off. I get that. I understand all those aspects as my mic gets in the way or my one mic. So that's where I'm looking at, what is going on, and if he is secure. But take it seriously. Ask him, what am I doing to make you feel like I'm cheating on you? Am I not giving you maybe attention used to? Am I not talking to you as much? Am I not being as intimate? That type of situation. And again, everybody's different as far as their physical desire, right? As far as their horniness, if you will. So, I don't know if there's been changes in those aspects. So I look at the root, and like right now, I go after stuff pretty quick, and I want to go after the root of the dynamics and look at what is really going on, and can you be open and honest and be, with maybe our own insecurities or, hey, I feel a certain way. And I don't want him, hey, I'm a man. I'm not going to admit my feelings or what I feel because I feel weak. No, I'm a man. So I'm going to bash and chastise you and accuse you of stuff because I'm feeling a certain way. I get it. I understand it. But I tell people that's also immature to be able to do that, and you're projecting those aspects. I understand it from a psychological perspective, but that doesn't make it right. And I look at what would it take to be open and honest with one another and with yourself. It doesn't make you less of a man, less of a woman, doesn't make you weak or immature. It makes you, understand and look at, hey, I'm feeling this way. And I want you to be able to really care about that and understand, what is happening? What's going on in the relationship or marriage, okay? So um that's where I want to look at, what is happening in those dynamics and in those situations. So hopefully that advice can help you to go after the root. I use that reference all the time, to go after the root of the situation, to go after the root of what the dynamics are in the relationship. So hopefully that can help you out. And if you always, give me a call, email me, text me, that type of stuff. And you can check out, all my information in my profile up above, the artofrelationships.org. But you can get that link up above, because a lot of people, I might not be clear when I say my website, but all that information's on my profile, all over social media under at LoveGuruGreg. So check it out. And yeah, I care. I want to help people. I want people to be, happy, to feel more connected. I don't want people to be in a unhappy, miserable situation. And it's not easy. I know legit, you talk about finances, everything else. Some people, you might want to be open and honest, but your partner might not be. They might be shy. They might flip the script because they start bashing you because they're insecure. They're feeling weak and they're not confident with that. Hey, I feel this way. I feel, you know, insecure. I feel this and I'm going to own it. What can we do about it? That's where I would love people to be at. I know I make it sound easy, but I know it's not. So hopefully some insights will check it out. And as always, you can check out all my episodes under at Love Guru Greg. And probably the easiest is on YouTube. So look up, at Love Guru Greg on YouTube. All my episodes, videos are on there. Make sure you follow me all over your favorite social media platform. And I do daily posts. I'm all open to I love to hear your comments. I love to hear your takes, your questions. And I do the Art of Relationship show every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you so much for spending your time, your valuable time watching the show, following. I'm very flattered, and I mean that, very humbled, because I know your time is crucial, okay? And I want to try to help as many people out there have the relationship they've craved, they desired. Nothing's perfect, but at least to feel a lot more connected, um, emotionally, mentally, and physically, okay? So I appreciate everybody. Peace and love, as always, to everybody out there. Everybody have a very good night.